ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all around the world and in the land of BW Sports One, just a bit outside, John. Baseball's back, baby.
Kinda, a little bit.
Well,
Take it.
fake baseball. I mean, it's still spring training, but baseball's back. Better than ever, maybe questionable. We will find out about that. Let's just get this rolling here, John. Last time we were on, which was a little too long ago, you can blame me on that one. Life events popping up and everything. We touched on the Hall of Fame and how we didn't think anybody was going to get in, and lo and behold, Scott Rowland and Fred McGriff are Hall of Fame bound. I don't know about you, John, or how much you followed the career of Scott Rowland or Fred McGriff, but I feel like the Hall of Fame anymore is becoming the Hall of above average.
Yeah, I mean, we complain about the controversy surrounding a lot of the steroid era guys. I mean, that adds a little bit of intrigue to everything. Everybody has their beliefs on how that should go down, but yeah, you can't exactly say these are super exciting names. You know, Crime Dog Fred McGriff. That's kind of interesting tidbit.
I mean, McGriff was at least close to 500 home runs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they don't jump off the paper and, thrill you, but when you look in the statistics and whatnot, I mean, they're probably deserving right at the end of the day, but, nobody's super happy with the outcome. It doesn't seem a lot of controversy, but they don't give us votes yet, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, McGriff got in on the committees. I'm not even going to try to remember the players' committee name, but he did get the votes from them to get in. Scott Rowland got about 78% of the votes, I believe, from the writers. So those are your two going in. Scott Rowland is going in officially as a Cardinal. Fred McGriff will not be representing a team. He will have no logo on his cap.
Exciting stuff.
I mean, Scott, would it really shock you though if Scott Rowland decided, like, you know what, let me put behind all of the past Philadelphia drama and I'll go in as a Philly?
Would have been nice, I guess, but I think as a Philly fan, we don't exactly love him after the way he went out.
Yeah, not too shocked there. And there was a thing on, it was Twitter. It was like, date how old you are based on your first sports heartbreak. And I was like, the one I could think of.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I put a Scott Rowland demanding a trade and being traded to the Cardinals for Placido Polanco. I was 11.
Placido was a decent player. It wasn't Rowland, but he had a couple of decent years.
Yeah. Great second baseman, third baseman all around. Did 2 stints, I believe, with the Phils. Mm-hmm. Rowland spent, I think, 7 years with the Cardinals, wins a World Series, and then gets traded to Toronto, and then signs and ends his career in Cincinnati, of all places. So Scott Rowland, Hall of Famer as a Cardinal. Fred McGriff going in just as Fred McGriff. Mm-hmm. So that's your Hall of Fame. And we did have a little bit of breaking news this morning, John. Manny Machado, after informing the Padres he intended to opt out of his original contract at season's end, now decides he wants to stay a Padre for the rest of his career. Signs an 11-year, $350 million contract.
Is it 385 or 350?
I thought it was 350. But let me look here. I think it's 350 because I found a tweet here from John Boy. If you combine the initial contract that began in 2019 plus today's extension, the Padres have signed Machado for 15 years and $470 million.
I mean, it's the market rate, man. So it was a little bit interesting. The reporting was kind of like sparse when he first came out and talked about opting out. Couldn't tell if he was opting out really to not stay or if it was just a ploy to get another contract. I guess we kind of know where that went.
Yeah, and right? Here's that then. Yeah, it seems to be the trend anymore of, we saw Phillies did it with Trey Turner. The Padres did it with Bogarts. It seems like any player in their 20s or almost coming up to their 30s, you try to get them to these 10-plus-year contracts with a high value and try to spread the hit over a decade, which seems to be the trend.
I mean, the AAV you look at, right? But I mean, it's a gamble. But I mean, at the same time, it's happening in every sport, right? Where you're trying to lock these guys down for longer periods of time because all contracts do are go up, 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 right? So the longer you wait to sign somebody, the more expensive they're going to be, probably, right? I mean, the contracts, unless the player plays himself out of money, the contracts inherently are just going to continue to increase.
And then another thing too, I mean, the contracts increase, and then which in return makes the cost for the average player increase.
Sure.
Simple. You could probably make this sound a lot better than what I'm going to do since you're in the world, but simple economics. If the cost of average player A is $1 million, but player B has a slightly better year than player A, then player B wants more than player A. I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody's got a value, right? And it doesn't matter if it's the best player or, a vet minimum or whatever it is, right? There's going to be a value to everybody, and that value across the board goes up. And if it's a percentage, then it obviously looks a lot higher when you're talking $350 million contracts versus a $3 million contract, but still same concept.
And I was looking to, I think I saw with Manny's contract with the total there being essentially 15 and 470. It ends up being 2 years longer than Harper, and then I think 6 million more a season. So
the thing is,
go ahead.
These players are expected to play up till and through 40 in some of these contracts, right? So I don't think Machado's what's he may be 39, I think. Is he 28 now?
Let me look here real quick.
Something like that.
I think he's maybe 30, 31 maybe.
He's 30. So yeah, I mean, so they're expecting him to play till 41, which isn't exactly unheard of, but I mean, it's pretty long, dude.
Let's see here. Come on.
He's 30.
30. Okay. So he's the same age as Harper. So yeah, you see these guys signing the long-term deals, and honestly, you're starting to see that a little more across all sports. When it comes to, I mean, even football related, seeing the big guaranteed contract of Deshaun Watson being the first of its kind. Baseball's always had these contracts where the money's going to be guaranteed. Other sports it's more incentive related, but maybe the baseball contracts are starting to trickle into every other sport, because now you've got Lamar Jackson winning a big long contract like that spread over time. Jalen Hurts could possibly get something. Well, not possibly. He's going to get it, but maybe that's just the trend of all sports.
I think that Watson's contract is more the aberration than the norm, to be honest with you. I mean, of course, Jackson wants that contract. It's not going to happen. I mean, he'll find a team that'll give him some of it guaranteed, maybe even a larger percentage than typical. But the Watson contract, I mean, all the owners in football were just livid that made that deal.
Yeah, I was just thinking more like it's similar to a baseball contract in which it's the guaranteed money and it's over the years and it's a high value per year.
Absolutely,
but
it is.
I was just trying to draw the comparison. But speaking of contract talks and failed contract negotiations, and let's just say what it is, a franchise blunder. The Brian Reynolds and the Pittsburgh Pirates saga continues. Shocking, I think almost nobody. But once I pop this up here,
I guess the only shocking part is how much they actually offered in the first place.
Yeah. And Brian Reynolds is a guy you want to build around. I mean, he's a solid player. He's still young. And it's not like look here, he's not even asking for it's still a lot of money, but it's not a mega like $300+ million contract. He wanted an 8-year, $134 million. And Pittsburgh comes back and it's just like, nah, how's a 6 and 80? Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, so you're 2 years and $54 million off the AAV on that is pretty stark, right? So let me.
Yeah, what's the math on that?
I'm trying to do it in my head right now, but so if what he's asking for is 16.75, and what they're offering is 13. So I mean, they're $3 million a year off at least.
And
I mean, for most franchises, I think that'd be easy for them to bite. The Pirates are the Pirates, though, man. They're always going to be the Pirates.
And it kind of sucks though because the Pirates actually had a decent offseason.
Yeah.
I mean, decent as in like they got some vets. They brought back Andrew McCutchen. They went out. They got Carlos Santana. They went out and signed Rich Hill. They got Vince Velasquez, who had, for whatever reason, Vince Velasquez gets a hype video. Vinny V got a hype video. And then you've got Brian Reynolds sitting here going, hey, like, how about you lock me up? And they're just like, nah, bro, we're good.
And the thing of it is, like, the Pirates never, like, if they trade these superstars before they get their contract and that they refuse to pay them, whatever they get back in return never shakes out. Their scouting department is not very good.
Not good. Not good.
So it's like, suck it up and pay the guy, dude, for once, if you ask me. But
and it's, I mean, we can also date back to, like you said, how you could build I'm trying to, what's the word I want to, almost Hall of Fame. Like you could build a contending team out of former Pirates. And it's insane. Like let's just talk from Barry Bonds on. But it's just, I don't get it. And then if the Pirates do trade him, they want a Juan Soto-esque return. Well, last time I checked, Juan Soto's getting paid almost $400 million.
Yeah, and if you want 5.
Yeah. So here we go again with the contract talk. The guy who's asking for a very team friendly 184 or whatever it was. And then you've got Soto.
134?
I just pulled it up. 134, yeah.
Yeah.
You think if it was right in front of my face, I'd remember it.
You're right. It wasn't an egregious ask by any means.
No, but you value the guy, you value your player like the superstar that everybody is trying to equate him to, but you don't want to pay him as such. But you want the return back that the better player costs.
They have their cake and eat it too, right? They want. I mean, they run it like a business, and it is a business, but that's why they don't win.
It's a terrible business.
Any teams that get run like a business are not teams that are going to win, man. I mean, look at the comments that Middleton says about spending money, right, in Philly, and he wants to win, man. And he's going to spend, and he's got the money to spend. I mean, the Pirates, I don't know, maybe they don't have. I mean, every ownership group is different in terms of their deep pockets, right? You look in the NFL, right? The Broncos have the Walton family, the Walmart money that came to town, and there's a salary cap obviously there, but they're paying coaches. They're paying Sean Payton what he wants. They're paying these assistants buku bucks, right, to bring them in because there's no salary cap for coaches, right? Baseball, there's no salary cap period, obviously. So the bigger your pockets you got, the more you spend. So I know the Pirates probably aren't in a position like a lot of other franchises with the amount of money they have, but they're just tightwads and they keep trying to turn a profit on this team, and that's all they care about. And you can tell by the product in the field where their priorities lie.
Yeah, here we go. I was just Googling this real quick because I saw a tweet, but this popped up. This is a little bit better. So this is the payroll of all the teams in baseball. League average payroll, 147 million average. Mm-hmm. These are the teams that are all below average, and the bottom three are Oakland, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh. I mean, you can see over here too, Oakland's got a total payroll of almost 41 million. And if we scroll up here to the top, we can see that the New York Mets have a total 2023 payroll of 336 million.
Uncle Stevie.
Oh my God. Oh, and here's the 26th man.
Their ownership came out with a comment recently this week about how they were emphasizing like trying to have concerts as opposed to like the baseball product, right? They pissed a lot of fans off with that. Do you see that comment?
No, I didn't see that one. What was that about?
Let me pull it up here.
And was this screen up when I was scrolling on it earlier?
I mean, it's up now. It just came up. It was
slow. Okay, so let me. So yeah, I clicked back. So it must.
Orioles CEO John Angelo says concerts at Camden Yards are a higher priority than the baseball team they place on the field.
And oh my God, So yeah, I thought it
The
was
Orioles low payroll. John Angelos of the 2022 team overachieved, adding it's not my job to predict payroll and listing his priorities in order as bringing concerts to Camden Yards, the partnership with the city, then the team.
Why does that sound a lot like the movie Major League?
Yeah, I don't know, man. As you're sporting your Orioles shirt right now.
Yeah. You know, we talk enough Philly here. I gotta rep something else, but I thought
I'm
this
like
was
Fred
up
McGriff
earlier.
over here.
Huh?
I'm like Fred McGriff over here.
Teamless.
Teamless, baby.
But yeah, here you see, I thought it was up earlier, but yeah, Oakland Athletics have a total payroll of almost 41 million, Baltimore at 50, Pittsburgh at 60. League average is sitting at 147
I can see
million.
it. Yeah.
And then there's Uncle Stevie with 336. Yankees at 267 and the Phillies at 231. So there's a big increase with the Mets and their apparent infinite checkbook.
It's Uncle Stevie for you, man. That hedge fund money comes to town. They still can't beat the Phillies.
Well, yeah. And they lose. Who did the Mets lose to? Oh my God, why can't I remember? The Padres.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the two lowest teams. Yeah, it was the Padres. Yeah, it was the freaking Padres. Oh boy. So their covers,
that Tommy Fury and Jake Paul fight.
Oh, that's on. Yeah, it's the cards going on right now.
Yeah, Portnoy's not picking Fury.
Yeah, shocker. I found a supposed leak script for that, which I thought was hysterical. But
dude, if it goes according to that, wouldn't surprise me one bit.
That one, I think it's they started the undercard at 2, but I think I read they're not going to try to get that fight off till about 5 o'clock our time.
Yeah, 5 or 6 is what they're saying.
Yeah, which is 1 a.m. Saudi time.
Saudi. Apparently, it's just one giant infomercial for Saudi.
Shocker. That's the same thing that WWE does when they go over there.
Yeah.
So we've had our discussions on here before about absolutely god awful, no good, terrible umpires. And we've already got some umpire drama this year. Let me get the where is it? Here it is. So MLB is reviewing a situation where Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol said CB Buckner refused to shake his hand before the game yesterday. And it's interesting to note here, too, that Angel Hernandez was on the same umpire crew. Yeah. And there were no problems with Angel, which I find absolutely shocking. But, John, I don't know how familiar you are with this blow up of last year.
Enlighten me.
So I actually have a video to show you. I'm not going to play the audio for obvious reasons, but
Copyright Brigade.
Be warned. There is some language. Go ahead and
that pitch is a ball.
Let me get that out there. So pitch is a ball. Players going. I think it was called a strike. CB Buckner hears chirps from the dugout, throws him out, and the manager just goes off. If you can catch up and read the captions. Your time was done at 22. Just get out of here. You're
wow.
I don't want to see your face. It's time for you to go. You just got here. You just got here. You think you're somebody. You just got here.
A lot of lips to this kind of stuff, but you got to wonder, like, how severe is this compared to most? I mean, most of the time you think they get pretty fired up, but I guess that probably is a couple steps beyond what you typically see out of managers when they get.
I mean, but I think a lot it's like especially with like Buckner and Hernandez, they're looking for the confrontation. Like, yeah, the manager comes out here ticked off, and CB right here is just like, you don't need to be saying some certain things. You can just kind of sit there and let the guy blow up. But as soon as you just saying your time was done at 22, you just effing got here. Now you just amplified the whole scenario. And yeah, you think you're somebody you just got here. And you've got the umpire telling that to the manager.
Yeah.
So that whole thing in general, not a good look for umpires.
No. Lately, there hasn't been many good looks for the umpires, though.
No, that's true. But so then you have the situation. MLB's currently investigating it. Do you think anything's going to come out of that, or is it just going to be another?
I mean,
Who
I
really
don't think
cares?
there's a problem with that necessarily. I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're talking about being unbiased, maybe it's the actions don't lead themselves to look great, from an optics standpoint. But I don't know, man. If somebody talked to me like that, I wouldn't be like head over heels with trying to go chit chat with them and shake their hand and whatnot. I mean, and unless MLB found calls that went against the Cardinals and can see a pattern, I don't know if it matters, right?
Yeah, maybe. But let me pull one thing up here real quick. I know I said earlier we were going to try to be a little less Philly biased, but Trey Turner gets his first at bat of the spring. Trey Turner delivers with a single in his first at bat of the spring.
Love the signing, man.
Trey Turner then goes on to steal second base with no attempts. And we can go into the rule changes here then too that I want to bring up. But he steals a base, and then on a grounder up the middle, he scores. So
steal a base, steal a taco, baby.
Steal a base, steal a taco. Greatest promotion ever. Greatest promotion ever. Thank you, Kyle Schwarber. Thank you, Kyle Schwarber.
Thank you for a lot of things, Kyle Schwarber.
So let's just pull this up here now. Rule changes for 2023. The good, the bad, and the ugly, as I'm going to call it here. And since we already... Where'd my tab go? There it is.
So the pitch clock is obviously the biggest one and most controversial, and we've already seen the season as early as it is. We saw a game end on one, right?
Yep, I could bring that. I got the video for that too. But is the screen still up on the?
It is. Yep, screen's up with the rule changes. I get that. So I don't know. I mean, so in theory, and maybe it'll shake itself out, right? I read a take somewhere recently that was kind of a good point, and it's kind of like whatever you think about the rule change, you would have thought that teams would be more prepared for it than they are, right? That they'd be practicing for it and prepping for it, and we wouldn't see these kind of issues with pace of play and running out the clock and whatnot, right? So that's a fair point, I think. Again, maybe it's just early season growing pains, but I mean, you hate to see it have an impact on the game like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a game-ending call and something like that is going to really, really like leave a bad taste in people's mouths.
So let me pull that one up here because I do have the video for that. It was bases loaded, and it ended up making the game a tie because they don't play extra innings in spring training.
6-6, wasn't it, with bases loaded?
Yep.
Called him out on the pitch clock. Yeah.
Yep. So here it is. I'm gonna do my. Yep. No audio there. So clock's coming down, and umpire calls time. The batter thinks he's got a balk, I think, which he starts going to first, but then the umpire points at him and goes, nope, strike three, you took too long. And that ends the game.
Hashtag seductive Sunday trending, Tim. Wow.
Hashtag what?
Seductive Sunday trending.
Yeah, we're not back. We're back in my Orioles jersey shirt.
Elon knows.
What?
Yeah, I hate to see it game-ending call and something like that. And I mean, I guess it's inevitable throughout the season with all the games that get played. It's going to happen, but man, it's really going to piss people off, dude.
And you also had the first infraction of recently extended Manny Machado for not getting in the batter's box quick enough.
Yeah.
You had, I think I read there.
Somebody, Josh Harrison, I think, there was a video of him trying to kind of play the shift a little bit, right? Where you know, with that rule change, I think he got in the dirt as like a split second before the hitter went up or something like that.
Yeah,
so a little bit.
I'll pull it back up here. So the rule changes on that one. Let me close some tabs here. Yeah, so shift restrictions. Also, one thing I want to let on to before we go into that with Trey Turner. Pitchers get 2 disengagements and pickoff attempts or step-offs per batter. Each violation ends a balk. So the third time you step off, it has to generate an out. So that could lead to guys like Turner and any other speed guy just running wild.
Yeah.
So we got the pitch clock there. Batters have to be in with 8 seconds left looking at the pitcher, which is why the other guy got called out. But what you were talking about here, yeah, the shift restriction. Infielders need to be on the dirt when the pitcher is on the rubber. So you can't have you can have the shortstop kind of like creep over to the line a little bit, so you can do like a semi shift.
Yeah.
You can have him kind of over the bag, but you can't cross the bag. So you're no longer going to see your third baseman out in the middle of right field.
Maybe a little bit of exaggeration there.
Maybe a little bit. But yeah.
Third baseman in right field?
Well, that's what they used to do. That's when they first started. The third baseman would go off into the, because remember, they would shift the second baseman back into basically shallow right and then shift everybody else over. And usually it was the third baseman, so that way if it was a double play, the shortstop could come across the bag per normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so shift restrictions are a thing now, which
well, games, I guess the first 2 games were like 2.5 hours with the
yeah
clock, right? Less than 2.5 hours. So I mean, you're gonna see
things are gonna move. But I feel like most of the in terms of length of game, I feel like that's just more of managers over managing every little situation, and I blame that on sabermetrics, where you have to have this pitcher go up against this guy, and then that's gone. And that rule was last year too, where each reliever comes in, they have to face a minimum of 3 hitters.
Yeah.
So that eliminated that.
I still kind of like the chess match aspect of it, though, right? The playing the matchups and whatnot. So
yeah, more of a traditionalist view, which I'm right there with you. Like, I hate seeing guys throw a pitch, get a guy out, and then be like, okay, next guy. I'm like, come on, are you kidding me? And then what was the other one I saw? Oh, they're limiting position players on pitching now too. You can only throw a position player if it's like the 8th or 9th inning, and you have to be up like 8 or 10 runs.
Gotcha. I mean, that makes sense.
I don't know, but they're also doing bigger bases. I guess inches matter. Expected to have a positive.
The one very misleading tweet where they had them next to each other. I mean, they're. I don't think this is a big deal, honestly. Not too big of a deal.
But could also, it'll help. I saw a photo. It's going to help more with those bang bang calls where, again, the base is just extended like 2-3 inches even, and you're going to have a lot less, I think, bang bang calls.
Yeah.
So those are some of the rule changes. Which one are you most, or which one do you think is going to have the biggest impact in a good, bad, or ugly way?
Pitch clock, and I think it's going to be ugly. It's going to be a lot more controversial endings to games, especially early in the season, probably while people are still getting used to it. But that's obviously the biggest one, I think, because it could literally decide games, like in that situation where, like in the Braves game, right, where it ended the game in a tie. I mean, imagine that in like a playoff situation or something like that, right?
Yeah, imagine Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah, ending on that. I mean, people are going to hate that. Absolutely hate that.
But I think by that time, either 2 things are going to happen. Everyone's just going to get used to it, and it's not going to happen beyond maybe the first or second week of the season. Or everyone complains so much it's gone by the All-Star break.
I don't know. We'll see. I think there's a scenario in between that where, it doesn't rear its head as much, and MLB sticks by it, and it rears its head in a bad way at a bad time. But we'll see. Anything could happen. I hope it doesn't have lasting consequences on meaningful games, but we'll see. Remember when MLB had that thing a couple years ago? They tried like the invisible batter, like once
the Ghost Runner.
Well, no, it was the invisible. Like you could literally swing an invisible bat, and it was like a home run. And each team got it like once per game.
What?
It's like 10 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. Was let me see if I can find it here.
I don't remember that. I think the biggest one, while you look that up, I think the biggest thing that I don't like is the pickoff attempt limit. Like, I get that you're trying to get guys to run more, you want to speed things up, but again, that's more of the chess match there, and the batter only gets one timeout per appearance. So I don't know. And then, of course, if you're going to limit pickoffs, I mean, this just seems kind of stupid to me. Of course, if you limit pickoff attempts, guys are going to know when they can run and they're going to abuse it. So, of course, it led to more increase of stolen base attempts because you can't effing throw over. You're done. Though I guess one way a lot of people have counteracted that so far, just listening to the Phillies broadcast yesterday, they're practicing pitch outs again.
Yeah.
So whether that or like a pitch out and a snap throw from the catcher to first, so you could always try to get somebody that way, which would really show off the arms of JT and Adley Rutschman, because I think they would be the two best at it. Did you find it yet?
Yeah, I did. I'm gonna get it up here.
You can, if you want to send it in the private chat, I can throw it up and on the screen here.
I have it queued up here. I think this is it. Maybe it was.
I think too when you mentioned earlier.
I guess they just made him. No, I guess I was wrong. They made him go back to. He had a single overturned into a grand slam, but they made him go back to home plate and like here it is. I mean, we can show it. It's not what I thought it was, but.
Oh, is it the Michael Morse home run?
It's the Michael Morse one, yeah.
Yeah, he hit a grand slam.
Somebody deep faked me today and on a Twitter account and made it seem like it was an actual rule change they tried out in like the.
No. What happened with
when the MLB tried to start the ghost home run, like one team got one per game? I guess it was a satire that got me.
Yeah. So, what happened with that one is he hit the grand slam to right. They said it wasn't a home run, so they had him go to a single. And so he went back to home plate because everybody had to go reset positions, so that way they didn't cross each other.
And then he bat. Yeah.
Nah, that's all good there.
I got deep faked, Tim.
Dude, it happens to me so often. Like, I don't even know what to believe anymore. Have you been seeing I got so many tabs open here. It's like Burt Kreischer open tabs, just sitting here going through. So I already did that one. Yeah, here's the first instance of batter not being ready in time. And so, yeah, you can see the clock right there on the left.
Yep.
Well, maybe not too well on how I got the screen there.
It was like 6 or 7. Yep. See, he didn't look at the pitcher. That was 5 seconds, right? He said it'd be 8 seconds.
Yeah, you have to be in the box and looking at the pitcher at the 8 second mark. You gotta wonder,
like, is that like a black and white? Like, there's no leeway whatsoever. It's the same thing as like the NFL when you're talking about the play clock, right? I mean, it gets to 0, but you gotta wait a second when it hits 0 before you throw the flag or this or that. So it's like, are they gonna say 8 seconds on the dot? And then how much discretion is there in terms of looking at the pitcher? I mean, I don't know. It just opens itself up for a lot of BS, if you ask me.
That's a solid point too, because I mean, let's take a look to see if we can. So he's in the box. The umpire calls time at 6. So that's 2 seconds over. So
yeah, he didn't call it right at 8. So I mean, and every umpire is probably going to play it differently, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure there'll be some that'll be like 8. Like they'll be looking to be like, bang, hit him.
Yeah, the MLB is going to be like trying to get it, locked in and have everybody on the same page. But you know how well that goes. So I don't know. I hate it. I don't like it. I like the concept of it, the pace of play stuff, but
You mean to tell me a game that's mostly umpired by human judgment could have some varying opinions?
Yeah.
You mean like a strike zone?
I don't want robots, bro.
That's a thing though too. Like they're already experimenting with the robot umpire in the low minors.
I know.
You draw the line at robo ump?
Yeah. Dude, the robots are taking over the world already, man.
I mean, we're already getting deep faked and AI'd galore.
Yeah, dude, ask Elon, man. He knows.
Elon.
Knows all this stuff.
I'll send a tweet out to him here. Hey, Elon, you want to jump on the baseball podcast and talk about deep faking AI?
I'll get him on. We're pretty close.
I'm sure you will.
We have some mutual acquaintances.
Joe Rogan?
Maybe. All I'll say is that maybe he lives in Austin, Texas.
Maybe not. So let's got the rules out of the way. We got some drama. One more thing. I mean, it's spring, but if you don't want to watch spring baseball, you do have the World Baseball Classic getting ready to kick off. Rosters have been announced. Schedules have been done. I believe they start the 7th of March is when they will do the first games. Let me pull up. I can't tell who's who now. Pretty sure this is going to be. Nope, that's not the one I want. Okay. You think I would have planned this out better? Maybe I'm just killing for time, but maybe I'm not. Okay, there we go. So United States roster. Quite a few good names here. You got Kendall Graveman, Lance Lynn, Kyle Freeland, Nick Martinez just replacing Clayton Kershaw, Mikolas Ottavino, Wainwright, Devin Williams, Kyle Ishikawa, JT Realmuto, and Will Smith are your catchers. Infield, Alonso, Tim Anderson, Arenado, Goldschmidt, newest Philly Trey Turner, Bobby Witt Jr., pretty stacked outfield here of Betts, McNeil, Mullins, Schwarber, Trout, and Kyle Tucker. Take a look at this coaching staff. Oh, wait.
Brian McCann.
Yeah. Brian McCann is a bench coach. Ken Griffey Jr. is a hitting coach. Mark DeRosa, the manager. John, how do you feel about Team USA going into the World Baseball Classic?
Looks pretty stacked. I'd be lying to you if I said I was followed it very closely. You know.
Yeah, I kind of followed the roster announcements, but
I mean, definitely always rooting for the good USA.
That's why I wanted to bring up
that called World Cup. Go USA! Would have liked to see us make a run there. That was a little bit heartbreaking.
Yeah, if only Christian would have.
A lot of it heartbreaking.
So that's Team USA there. I did want to show you one thing I found a little ironic. Where is it? And it comes from Team Japan. So, I mean, you've got guys that you know of, like Yu Darvish there, Shohei Ohtani, obviously. Few infielders, you know, I'm sure they play great professional baseball over in Japan. But there's one outlier here, and I don't know if you see him quite yet, sitting in the outfield.
Yeah, I do.
I want to know how Lars Nootbaar gets to play for Team Japan.
Tim, it's 2023. You can decide a lot of things on a whim. And apparently nationality now has become one of them.
I'm sure he was born on a base over there or something, but...
I mean, it says birth country USA. Now, you're right. He could have been born on a military base over there.
And other guys, I mean, because you have... Israel's got a few major leaguers, too.
It's different with Israel. I mean, they have birthright.
Garrett Stubbs.
If you're born, you know, even the USA, they have birthright. So I think anybody of that lineage,
Jock Peterson,
would be able to. Jock Peterson, man.
For Team Israel, and look at this too. Like Ian Kinsler's the manager, Brad Osment's the bench coach, Kevin Youkilis is the hitting coach. Like, talk about like a player-heavy, like coaching staff.
Yeah.
And then one more I thought that was interesting. Team Italy coach Mike Piazza.
There you go.
I just thought that
a bunch of USA players. Nicky Lopez. I mean,
Robel Garcia from the Dominican Republic. It's playing for Team Italy.
Dominic Fletcher. I mean, I maybe one of their parents is Italian or something. I don't know. Again, it's 2023. We can't ask these questions.
I mean,
We're probably already being taken down off of every social media outlet there is.
I highly doubt that. But here you go. The one team I think I think this team's gonna win it all here. The Dominican Republic.
Yeah,
Uh,
of course.
Alcantara, Johnny Cueto, Luis Garcia, former Philly, Rafael Montero, who we saw plenty of in the World Series.
Hey, Greg
Good old
Soto.
Hector Neris, Greg Soto. So a lot of these guys, I mean, Greg Soto hasn't been in Philly's camp yet, so he's been out. Gary Sanchez for Francisco Mejia.
Nelson Cruz.
Nelson Cruz is an infielder. I don't know unless they're going to plan on putting him at first, but Devers and Franco, Vlad Jr., Machado,
Segura.
Gene Segura.
R.I.P. to his Phillies career.
Yeah, tell me about it, man. Juan Soto, Julio Rodriguez. So I know, John, I don't even have to ask you who you're going to pick.
Like these birthdays in 2000. How old does that make you feel?
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. Do not want to talk about it. So I think I knew who you would pick for the World Baseball Classic because just like Hulkamania, brother, you bleed the red, white, and blue.
I do. This is sitting on my desk right now.
What is it?
It's the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence.
Right we here. The people. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
I will absolutely die on the hill. I will support the USA in every situation possible, this one included. So I don't care about statistics. I don't care about how good or bad on paper they are. They're my team. It will always be my team. And if they're not your team, then you're un-American.
Well, as much, I mean, I'm going to be rooting for Team USA too, but I just think that Dominican Republic team is just going to clean house.
You can think they're good. I think they're good. I'm not going to root for them.
That's fine. I'm going to like watching them play. That's for sure. Them and Team Japan, I think, are going to be real fun. But imagine if Bryce Harper was healthy, you'd have Bryce Harper on Team USA too.
I know, and he would love that too. Bryce is a big America guy.
Cue the Hulk Hogan theme song, "Real American." Start ripping our shirts off.
Guy, dude. He's a big America guy.
So I think we'll call it an episode on that one. There, kind of touched on everything I could think of. Is there anything you saw recently that you didn't get deep faked on?
The pitch clock, man, just hate it. We'll see this next couple weeks how it goes, and hopefully it improves. But man, that's going to be a storyline, and you're going to hear a lot of moaning and groaning about it, I bet.
Yeah, especially from the. I consider myself a traditionalist, but what's interesting too with the pitch clock, a lot of the minor leaguers have already been doing it for their entire career.
Right.
So as like you figure as these guys come up, like they're already used to it. Like, when I was watching the Phillies game yesterday, they were talking to Derek Hall about it, and him being one of these guys who's extremely used to the pitch clock. Like he gets up to the plate and he's ready to roll, and the pitcher's literally just sitting there walking behind the mound doing whatever they want, playing with the rosin bags. So,
yeah,
I think the younger guys will. I mean, it's already in them. Like it'll be fine, but guys like Scherzer, DeGrom, maybe Wheeler, it's just guys who like to take their time and be a little methodical. I think that's going to come back and bite them.
Yeah, I agree.
So outside of the pitch clock, any last words?
Go USA!
USA go! Proud to be an American. I'm free. There's my terrible singing for the day. Right. So we'll call this one a wrap. Will not be on next week. I'm getting married. I'm getting married. So not sorry guys, I'm not doing a show at my wedding. And then
I will also be there.
John will be there. Source we're not going live from Tim's wedding either. So March is going to be a little bit of iffy times with everything going on, but keep an eye out on the BWSPORTS Facebook page for all posts. And anything that happens throughout the season, we'll definitely be posting there. Be sure to check out all of our other shows. Check out our great sponsors, which I realized I totally forgot to have that running across the bottom. So sorry, sponsors. I'll list you off right now. We've got our great partners of Elite Performance, What's Poppin' Corn Snacks, Revved Up Tattoos, Printed Memories, and Doc's Sports Picks. Check them all out. Support our sponsors because they support us just the way that we all support Team USA. From everybody here, John, me, let's get back to baseball. And